Bringing it back here to Northern California now as you're getting ready to head into work or wherever, temperatures will start to warm up a little bit today.
Yeah, grab the shades. You probably didn't need them yesterday for the morning commute, but today you're going to need them, trust me, because there's less in the way of cloud cover out there. While there are just a few high clouds skimming the skies, you can see the reflection of the sunlight pretty clearly here from our downtown Sacramento Skycam at 555 Capitol Mall. There's the sun coming through some of those high clouds this morning, and it's still very comfortable out the door. We have temperatures in the upper 50s right now. By lunchtime, it's going to be mild outside. Temperatures in the mid 70s. If you're walking around the Capitol looking for a place to eat, you'll feel that difference. And then later in the day, as you leave the office, temperatures will be in that lower to mid 80s range. But that Delta breeze should come through nicely again overnight tonight. So it should be another great evening for sleeping weather in terms of turning off the AC and letting that cool breeze come through. We have winds right now to the southwest at 23, top of the 6 o'clock hour in Fairfield, shuffling around Sacramento up through Yuba City at about 6 miles per hour. Temperatures across the foothills cool enough to grab maybe a jacket or at least a long sleeve layer. 55 in Placerville right now, where you are going to see more sunshine today. 58 in Yuba City, 56 in Fairfield, and currently 57 for Modesto. In the Planter across the Valley region, again, it's going to be mild by lunchtime with those temperatures hiking into those mid to upper 70s. Highs stay feeling warmer as we reach the mid 80s. Coming up in my full forecast, I'll show you where we could see more thunderstorms develop in the mountains later on this afternoon. 6:02 right now. Brian, what are you tracking for us on the roads?
Yeah, I got to keep an eye on this WX freeway project here, the Fix 50 project, where you can see traffic starting to back up in those right lanes that will allow you to get off for local traffic here in the downtown area. That's going to carry all the way right through about 16th Street, and then once you get past that, things start to open back up. You can see that is already starting to impact that northbound 99 ride where folks are trying to merge over into that area. And that here's a live look from 12th Avenue, and you can see the right lanes very slow there as, again, people are starting to jockey for position over to the right side there to merge onto Highway 50. I-5 will get you around all of that if you want to avoid that and take that up into downtown and maybe just find yourself a detour into your ultimate destination, avoiding 99 at this point. Highway 50 looking good coming in from Folsom all the way down into the Fix 50 project there. Not much of a delay. And Interstate 80 looking good. Marconi Avenue, we had an earlier collision there. That's not causing any delays. That's the icon you see there. And then in Stockton, no problems on 599 and the Crosstown Freeway. Heading out through the 99 corridor, Modesto to Manteca looking good in that stretch. And then we've got a little bit of slowing here popping up on 205, and then at westbound 580, they're just waiting on a tow truck there for an earlier hit and run. But again, that's on the right-hand shoulder. Shouldn't be adding to travel times there. 205, 39-minute ride. Westbound 580, 25 minutes. And then here in Sacramento, 99 in the red already, 15 minutes. I-5 still sitting at 11 minutes. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. Take a live look now from the courthouse in Miami, where former President Trump will arrive in a few hours to face charges of taking classified documents. Mr. Trump is the first former president to face federal charges. He has encouraged his supporters to show up outside of the courthouse. Caleb Califano from our affiliate in South Florida has a look at the security preparations in place to make sure everything stays safe.
As you can imagine, with a former president making his way inside the building later this afternoon, security is going to be tight, and we've already seen a large law enforcement presence this morning. They've been hard at work over the past few days setting up a number of blockades and police tape around the building. It's an extremely large response due to a situation like this never happening before. Multiple county, state, and federal agencies have all convened to this one building to make sure everything runs smoothly. Now, we're also expected to see a number of rallies planned today, many as starting as early as this morning. In total, up to 50,000 people are expected, possibly throughout the day. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez says it's in people's right to protest, but he wants it peaceful.
In our city, we obviously believe in the Constitution and believe that people should have the right to express themselves. But we also believe in law and order. And we know that, and we hope that tomorrow will be peaceful.
Again, Trump's expected to make his way inside the courthouse later this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And when it comes to different street closures and detours, law enforcement tells us it just depends on how large the different rallies and demonstrations become. In Miami, I'm Caleb Califano. Back to you.
So what's going on outside the courthouse? What about inside? Well, the former president is expected to surrender to federal authorities at the courthouse around noon our time. KCRA 3's Amy Liu explains what will happen after that.
Well, today is Trump's first court appearance, but it's unclear right now whether he'll be arraigned. At the hearing this afternoon, Trump is expected to remain quiet until the judge gives him permission to speak. The arraignment, which could happen minutes after the hearing, will be where all 37 federal charges are read. If arraigned, Trump will enter a plea and be released. Now, a trial will likely not be for at least another year, but if convicted, he could be facing possible prison time. In Washington, I'm Amy Liu.
All right, thank you, Amy. We will have special live coverage of Donald Trump's court appearance. NBC News will break into regular programming. The report is expected to begin sometime after 10 a.m., and that report should last at least an hour. Meantime, the court hearing scheduled for noon our time. We will also have updates on the KCRA3 mobile app.
The Trump indictment will have a big impact on the Republican race for president. Last night, former New Jersey governor and presidential hopeful Chris Christie took part in a town hall with CNN. He continued to lay into former President Trump and his recent indictment, saying people should be blaming Trump and not the DOJ.
How about blame him? He did it. He took documents he wasn't supposed to take. He kept them when they asked him back for them. They got a grand jury subpoena. He refused to comply. They raided his home finally because he refused to comply.
Meanwhile, Governor Newsom made his first appearance on Fox News since 2010. During his interview with Sean Hannity, Newsom reaffirmed his support for President Biden's re-election campaign, but he also refused to say whether supporters call for him to run against Biden on the 2024 ballot. When asked about the migrant situation involving Florida and Sacramento, Hannity pressed Newsom, saying that California is an open sanctuary state. Newsom responded that while the state embraces everybody, he said, quote, "I sat down with these migrants. I talked to every single one of them, and they were lied to. They were misled," end quote. The interview took up the full hour of Hannity's show yesterday, but the Fox News host says there are still more things to talk about. He says the rest of that interview will air later this week.
Well, this morning, Sacramento police are continuing to search for the people responsible for a deadly shooting in the north part of the city. Happened just before 1:30 yesterday afternoon on Lampasas Avenue near Del Paso Boulevard. When officers arrived on scene, they found two men had been shot. Both of them later died at the hospital. The shooting is just one of many that has happened in this area over the past few weeks. Now, we spoke with a man who actually lives and works near where this happened. He says seeing all the caution tape and police is no longer a surprise.
It is sad. I walked up, I saw this, I felt no shock, just a little surprise and curiosity. This is pretty common. It's not every day, but it's not surprising.
A $1,000 reward is being offered for any information that could help Sacramento police find the suspects. You can leave an anonymous tip if you know anything through Crime Stoppers. By the way, this is the fourth shooting in North Sacramento area this month. Police records indicate that Del Paso Heights is one of Sacramento's most violent neighborhoods, but residents say it was once a tight-knit community where small businesses thrived. Well, that started to change in the mid-'80s with the introduction of crack cocaine. Coming up Thursday night, how the drug tore through this community and the impact it is still having decades later, and what leaders say needs to change to help this area recover. Our KCRA3 special, Del Paso Heights Cracking an Epidemic, airs Thursday at 8 p.m. Meantime, not far away in Antelope, 4 teens spent the night in juvenile detention center after a chase with a stolen car ended in this crash. It happened in the area of Antelope Road and Willarga Way. 3 suspects reportedly ran from the car while 1 remained inside. Sacramento County deputies quickly caught 2 of those who ran off. They searched for the 4th suspect for some time before capturing that individual around 10:30.
Happening today, Sacramento Metro fire officials will tell county leaders what they're doing to keep people's homes and properties safe from illegal fireworks with the July 4th holiday just 3 weeks from today.
KCRA3's Melanie Wingo is live outside of a fire station in the county to look at what they're doing, what they've done right so far, and how it's working, Melanie, overall.
Yeah, well, this afternoon, the Sac Metro fire leaders will talk with the County Board of Supervisors about those efforts. And the efforts have been going on for the past couple of years. It's been a crackdown by Sac Metro Fire on the use of illegal fireworks across Sacramento County. And today, they're going to be letting people know about the dangers of illegal fireworks, really talking about those efforts. And first and foremost, Sac Metro Fire is educating the community. It'll tell the Board of Supervisors that any firework that goes up in the air and travels or explodes is illegal and potentially dangerous. So today, the Greater Sacramento Fireworks Task Force is talking with the supervisors about its enforcement plan for the upcoming 4th of July period. And part of that involves letting the county know about code related to illegal fireworks. And the code is that it is illegal for anyone to knowingly set off or allow someone to set off illegal fireworks on residential or other private property. And also, the violations of those codes are considered misdemeanors and public nuisances. A first offense carries a fine of $1,000. A second offense within 1 year of a first violation carries a $2,500 fine, and each additional offense within 1 year of a first violation carries a $5,000 fine. Violations within the American River Parkway carry fines of up to $10,000. Now, if you'll remember, the legal fireworks that are only allowed within a very finite window of time, they carry a safe and sane label. And coming up in our 6:30 half hour, we'll talk a little bit more about how Sac Metro Fire is getting the word out about when to use those legal fireworks and which ones constitute those legal, safe and sane fireworks. Reporting live in Sacramento County, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.
All right, thank you, Melanie.